Hello, good morning all. I am Abhishek Nagar from Career Point School of Pharmacy. I am here to present a topic on biomolecules. So let's start. Biomolecules basically are the molecules having some biological activity. As an introduction part, or we can say the significance of biomolecules, we know that molecules are not having any life, or we can say that life is consist of lifeless molecules. But we know or we need these molecules for survival. For example, oxygen, water, and here is an example which is adrenaline. It is a neurotransmitter, but it is a life-saving drug and we require it for our life-saving purpose. Now, as an introduction part, we know that the biomolecule contribute in the maintenance of metabolic event. Metabolic event means these molecules are going to interact with other molecules and these events are known as metabolic event or the metabolism. It may be a catabolism or anabolism, and this process is a continuous process. For example, glycolysis, citric acid cycle, HMP shunt, beta oxidation of lipid. So these are the major biochemical event. Electron transport chain, which gives us number of ATP. Next one, the metabolism part. So biomolecules as a major class consist of a carbohydrate, protein and lipid. These molecules are the major class of biomolecules. And as we are seeing from the picture that on metabolism, it is the catabolism part, these are going to form the building blocks. For example, the carbohydrate on catabolism going to form glucose. All the proteins on catabolism form amino acid, or the lipids on catabolism is going to form free fatty acids. So these are also known as the building block of our body. And further, these molecules are going to participate in biosynthesis process. It is also known as anabolism. Function of biomolecules. So what is the function of carbohydrates? So the function is, these are the instant source of energy. For example, the glycolysis. We require the glycolysis. Brain continuously require the glucose and the supply of energy in the form of ATP. So it is the basic cycle. The glycolysis is going to provide ATP. Now in the case of protein, these are the molecule which going to form infrastructure of the body, like muscle formation, bones. So these are going to form infrastructures. Now the case of lipid. So lipid are known as the fuel for the body in long-term use. Means the lipid are going to utilize by the body. A process is known as beta oxidation of lipid, and this is going to provide the ATP in long term. So these are the storage form of fuel in long term. Next is biochemical events. So as we have discussed, biochemical events are the interactions of these molecules with the different molecules, and these events are like glycolysis, citric acid cycle, HMP shunt, beta oxidation of lipid, and finally electron transport chain, as we are seeing in the picture. When we are eating a carbohydrate in the form of starch, it is going to break down into glucose, and this glucose enters cytosol, the cytoplasm of the cell, and here the glycolysis occurs. Then from a glycolysis, a molecule known as pyruvate is going to generate, and this again going to start a new biochemical event, citric acid cycle. And then the citric acid cycle is responsible for approximately 60 to 70% the production of ATP. It is a major contributor for the production of ATP. And finally, the electron transport chain is there. Why it is there? Because in the formation of ATP, there are the two processes, oxidative phosphorylation or substrate level phosphorylation. In case of oxidative phosphorylation, we need an intermediate. And that intermediate is going to participate in electron transport chain, and then the formation of ATP occurs. Whereas in case of substrate level phosphorylation, we need a substrate and a spontaneous generation of ATP occurs. Now biosynthesis. Now up to this we come to know that these biomolecules have the major classes like the carbohydrate, protein and lipids. Okay. And these molecules on metabolism, and the first part is the catabolism, is going to generate building blocks. But now here is the case of biosynthesis, anabolism part. So when these molecules, the building blocks, their function is to a continuation of the biochemical events. Simultaneously, they are also useful for biosynthesis. They are going to generate number of molecules. And these molecules are phospholipids, cholesterol, the prostaglandins, in case of lipid, the porphyrins, in case of protein, purine nucleotide, pyrimidine, amino acid, protein, hormones, vitamins, immunoglobulins, and blood clotting factors. So what does it mean? The food what we are eating is going to utilize by the body for the maintenance purpose, and it is also going to synthesize new molecules. Immunoglobulin, this class is responsible for immunity of the body, antibody formation. Hormones are required by the body for their functionality, neurotransmitters. Okay, so let's see what happens next. Now we have to define each class of biomolecule. Now first is the case of the carbohydrate. So what are the carbohydrates? So as the word carbohydrate itself representing hydrates of carbon, means carbon, molecule of water, and its number may be N, CH2O whole N. But this is not a universal definition. There are some deficit of it. Okay. So the broad term, in broad term, we can say that the carbohydrates are the polyhydroxy aldehyde or ketones. Polyhydroxy aldehyde and ketones. So what are these? For example, we can say that for each class we need a basic molecule for a discussion. If we need to explain alkanes, we need methane. If we want to explain alkenes, we have to define ethene. If we want to discuss alkyne, we have to define acetylene. Now in the case of the carbohydrate, the fundamental molecule is D-glyceraldehyde, as you can see in the picture. Now this molecule is what? You can see it. It is having number of carbon is 3. The functional group is aldehyde and CH2OH is there. And according to the position of hydroxyl group and hydrogen, this is known as D-glyceraldehyde, better. Here is the molecule, it is known as D-glucose. Glucose formula is C6H12O6. So number of carbon is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hydroxyl group are there. And at the third number of carbon, an interchange is there. And due to this structure is known as glucose. Similarly, these are the molecules. Next is proteins. So what are proteins? Proteins are defined as the sequence of amino acids. Okay. Because as we have seen in the case of carbohydrate, these are the polyhydroxy, aldehyde and ketone, and even the polyhydroxy aldehyde are known as aldoses. Okay, the polyhydroxy ketones are known as the ketoses. Classification part, we come to know that these may be monosaccharide, disaccharide or polysaccharide. Example of the monosaccharide are glucose, fructose. Example of disaccharides are maltose, lactose and sucrose. An example of polysaccharide are cellulose, dextrin. Okay. Now in the case of proteins, we have to define amino acids. What are amino acids? Now from the word again, amino and acid means it is the structure, or we can say a carbon is there, 4 bonds are there. One will contain a functional group, that is the carboxylic acid. Second one contain amino group. Third one contain hydrogen, and the remaining will contain alkyl group. So according to the substitution in alkyl group, these amino acids are going to define. So the first class is those containing aliphatic side chain. So what does it mean? If you are going to replace the alkyl group with hydrogen, the molecule is going to form and it is known as glycine. Next, if you are going to replace the alkyl group with methyl, it is known as alanine. So similarly, if you are replacing the group, you are getting the compounds. Second class is amino acid containing hydroxyl group. So what are those compounds? So serine. If you are focusing on the structure of these compound, alanine, which is the basic compound, when you are substituting alkyl group with methyl group. Now in case of a serine, instead of methyl group, one hydrogen you can replace from the methyl and you can attach hydroxyl group. So it is known as serine. Similarly, the compounds will be tyrosyl and threonine. Next category is sulfur containing amino acid, cysteine, cysteine, methionine. Next class is acidic amino acid. These are aspartate, glutamic acid. Next class is amino acid containing basic group. So what does it mean? Basic means one more basic group will be going to add. Acidic amino acid means you are going to add one more carboxylic group in the structure. So from the basic side, it is lysine, tryptophan and arginine. And next is amino acid containing aromatic side chain or aromatic group, means in the structure of alanine, you are going to add phenyl group. And the structure which is going to form is known as phenylalanine. Similarly, the case of tyrosine or the other molecule. And the last class is amino acid. This is also, the example is proline. So it is a nitrogen containing pentacyclic ring with the carboxylic group. Now the case of the classification of proteins. So protein are broadly classified into the classes simple protein, conjugated protein and derived protein. The simple protein are further going to classify into globular protein and scleral protein. Example of the globular protein are albumin, globulin, histone and the protamine. These are also known as non-fibrous protein. Okay, simple protein, but these are non-fibrous. Next is the case of fibrous protein, and the best example is collagen and keratin and elastin. The conjugated proteins, the example is metalloprotein. Next one is lipoprotein and glycoprotein. So in further studies, we will see that these proteins are constituted or going to form the cell membrane. Phospholipid are there, lipoproteins are there. So all these structures are embedded in the cell membrane. And derived proteins, these may be the primary, the example is the coagulated protein, or the secondary, the example is peptone or polypeptide. It is a broad class. Next one. Now we have to define lipids. What are the lipids? How we can define the lipid? So as in the case of a free fatty acid, how we can define it? So it may be a saturated, unsaturated, and from the term the fatty acid, we are going to conclude that it contains acidic group, and in organic chemistry it is the carboxylic group. So in simple terms we can say that lipids are the long chain of carbon which may be saturated, unsaturated, and having a carboxylic group at one end. Okay, so long chain of carbon is there. It may contain whole single bonds or at some places double bonds and a carboxylic group. So now the next point is, what is that fundamental compound from which the structures of various lipid can be drawn? So that compound is, in case of lipid, is acetic acid, CH3COOH. It is a simple structure. As we have discussed in case of aldoses, the structure is D-glyceraldehyde. In case of ketosis, the structure is dihydroxyacetone. In case of amino acid, the structure is glycine, alanine. These are the fundamental structures. Now in case of lipid, we can start our structure writings from acetic acid. So as in the case of acetic acid, it is containing 2 carbon atom, 1 functional group, that is the carboxylic group. Now when you are adding the number of carbon atom in the chain, the propanoic acid, butanoic acid, pentanoic acid, hexanoic acid, octanoic acid, decanoic acid, okay, so up to 24 carbon atom, you can elongate the ring, and that compound is known as arachidic acid, as we are saying. In case of saturated, the acetic acid, palmitic acid, stearic acid, and arachidic acid. Now when unsaturation is added in these molecules, for example in case of arachidic acid, the compound will be arachidonic acid. It contains 4 double bonds. Now in case of steroids, the example is the cholesterol. So in broad terms, these can be defined as simple lipids, complex lipid, and derived lipids. The example of simple lipids are fats and oil and waxes. The complex lipids are phospholipid, glycolipid, lipoprotein. If we are going to form a complex, derived lipid is the glycerol, fatty acid, steroid hormone, and even fat soluble vitamins. Fat soluble vitamin is an important class of biomolecules. Okay, so now up to this stage, we come to know that what are the major classes of biomolecules, how they are defined, what is their classification, and even we have discussed what are the structural component of the major classes. Okay, now it is the second part, that for the biomolecule, what these are molecule going to do inside the body. So it is the first step. It is also known as the first step or the first step of cellular respiration, that is glycolysis. So the step 1 is glucose is converted into glucose 6-phosphate with the help of hexokinase, glucose 6-phosphate to fructose 6-phosphate with the help of phosphoglucoisomerase. Fructose 6-phosphate is going to convert into fructose 1,6-bisphosphate with the help of phosphofructokinase. So up to this, it is the first half of this cycle, and in this case, ATP is consumed. You can see in the case of hexokinase, 1 ATP is required, and similar in the case of phosphofructokinase, 1 ATP is required. Now this fructose 1,6-bisphosphate with the help of aldolase is going to divide it into 2 components, and these components are dihydroxyacetone phosphate and the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Now again these molecules are in the picture. If you can revise, you can see that when we have started the carbohydrate, we come to know that we need a fundamental structure to study aldoses, and it is nothing but glyceraldehyde. And in case of the ketosis, we need dihydroxyacetone. Glucose is what? It is a polyhydroxyaldehyde, and fructose is a polyhydroxyketone, that is the ketosis. So these are again going to come into the picture. From this, the cycle requires further steps, and finally we are going to the conclude energetic parts. What are energetic parts? And we come to know that from the whole cycle, if this is undergoes an aerobic glycolysis, that is the case of absence of oxygen, the net worth is 2 ATP, and in the case of the presence of oxygen, aerobic glycolysis, the worth is 8 ATP. Now it is the second cycle. It is known as citric acid cycle. Now the output of the glycolysis is what? A pyruvate. Pyruvate is the output of glycolysis. And it is going to participate in citric acid cycle, as we are seeing. It is from the glycolysis. It is going to interact with acetyl-CoA, and it will convert oxaloacetate to citrate. It is a step. This citrate is going to convert into isocitrate, alpha-ketoglutarate, succinyl-CoA, succinate, fumaric acid, malic acid, and the cycle will repeat. Now what is important in this cycle? These are the intermediate, NADH, nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. So these intermediate compounds are important because these are the part of oxidative phosphorylation, as we have discussed. These will going to participate in electron transport chain and will form large number of ATP. So that is why citric acid cycle is going to contribute in about 60 to 70% the production of ATP. Next is SMP shunt. So this cycle is mainly focused with the production of NADH, which is an intermediate for oxidative phosphorylation, and second important compound is ribose. Here we can see ribulose 5-phosphate, and this is going to form ribose 5-phosphate in the non-oxidative phase. This ribose sugar is required for formation of nucleic acids. Okay. Now come to urea cycle. Okay. So up to now what we are getting the points that how the carbohydrates are going to metabolize and what are the important cycles under the carbohydrate metabolism, glycolysis, citric acid cycle, and SMP shunt. Now in case of protein, so as we know that the protein are the sequence of amino acid. Okay, so now the question is, what are the end product of the carbohydrate metabolism? Or the carbohydrate after the degradation is going to form what molecules? So the answer is CO2 and water. CO2 and water are the end product of carbohydrate degradation. Okay. Now in case of the protein, so as the end product of protein metabolism, we are going to find out two molecules, that is ammonia and CO2. Ammonia and CO2 are the end product. जो भी protein आप ले रहे हैं, ultimately it is going to give you ammonia and CO2. Now these ammonia and CO2 both are gases. CO2 utilize the path of excretion using respiratory tract. CO2 will exhale out and O2 will inhale out inside the body. Okay. So it is the path of respiration. Now we are going to discuss about the excretion or the process of excretion for ammonia. How this ammonia gas is going to excrete out from the body. So here is the urea cycle. So you can see that CO2 end product and ammonia is end product. This is going to form the carbamyl phosphate with the help of enzyme carbamyl synthase 1 in the mitochondria. The site of urea cycle is liver, and the conversion will be ornithine to citrulline with the help of enzyme ornithine transcarboxylase, carbamylase. This citrulline is going to generate arginosuccinate with the help of enzyme aspartate, and this arginosuccinate is going to form arginine. Arginine, now it is important. If you are going to recall, arginine is what? It is a basic amino acid, arginine. And if we focus the structure of this, because it is a short time lecture, so I can't compile each and everything, but the structure of arginine consists of a guanidino group, which is similar to the structure of ammonia, NH2CO NH2. Okay, so this will going to generate a molecule that is urea. So urea is the output from this cycle, or arginine after the hydrolysis is going to form urea. Next is beta oxidation of lipid. Beta oxidation of lipid, as you can see, it is the part of lipid metabolism. Urea cycle is important in case of protein. Now, if we are focusing on lipid, we come to know that lipid is what? A long chain of carbon, may be saturated, unsaturated, or it is having a carboxylic group at one end, as we are seeing from the picture. So whatever lipid you are eating, it will going to change into the free fatty acid, as we can recall our slide number 2. Okay. So this molecule, if we are taking the example of the palmitic acid, which is a 16 carbon containing acid. Okay. So when this molecule undergoes beta oxidation of lipid, now what is the meaning of beta oxidation? What is the beta here refers to? So as we can recall the IUPAC nomenclature, the class 10+2, we come to know that the carbon atom which is directly linked with the functional group is known as alpha carbon atom, and the carbon atom which is adjacent to this is known as beta carbon atom. So these carbon atoms are alpha and beta, and on the beta carbon atom we are going to form the oxidation of the beta carbon atom, or beta oxidation of lipid. So from this cycle we come to know that step 1, step 2, step 3 and step 4. First step is this acid is going to change into the trans delta square enoyl CoA. So what is happening in this step? This is dehydrogenation. बीटा कार्बन पे अगर आप देखें, यहाँ पे 2 हाइड्रोजन लगा हुआ है. अगर यहाँ से आप हाइड्रोजन को रिमूव कर देंगे, इट इज डिहाइड्रोजनेशन एंड फॉर्मेशन ऑफ डबल बॉन्ड विल बी देयर. एंड इन द नेक्स्ट स्टेप दिस विल अगेन hydrolyze and going to form a hydroxyl group at beta carbon atom. This is again going to dehydrogenase, and again the formation of double bond is there, but at this time it is oxidized, and here C double bond O is there. Now this structure is known as beta keto. This structure is known as beta keto acyl CoA. Right. So this is the beta oxidation of lipid. The final step is the breakdown of this chain into acetyl CoA and the remaining part. For example, if we are taking the 16 carbon atom, 2 carbon atom have been removed as acetyl CoA, and the remaining 14 carbon chain is there. And this acetyl CoA is going to participate in citric acid cycle. Now this is electron transport chain. So this is, as the name is going to suggest, again name is itself represents so many things. So electron transport chain. So there is a chain which is transporting electron. And as we are discussing about biomolecule, we know that these contains the atoms. Atom contain electrons. So how this process started? Okay. So this is the cytoplasm. Inner membrane is there. when the intermediate are participate in this chain, because it is the part of oxidative phosphorylation. So it needs some intermediates like NAD and FAD molecules. When these molecules enter, the change in electron transport occurs and the proton and will shift it out in the inner membrane space, and this continuous flow of electron is going to generate ATP. You can see from the diagram, as this proton enters this part, it is known as ATP synthase, which is the main metabolic machinery for the production of ATP and formation of ATP. So it is a continuous cycle because it is also a vital cycle, as the heart rate is important, the transportation of glucose in the brain is important. Similarly, the conduction of electron transport chain is important. Now, up to this part, what we come to know? We come to know that what are the biomolecules, what are the major classes, how they are defined, how they are classified, what are the examples. And in the second part, we come to know that what are the major biochemical cycles on which the production of the energy depends up to the electron transport chain. Now it is the third part of the lecture. So it is showing some synthesis. Okay. So up to this, we have discussed the interactions, but from this point of view, we are going to discuss about anabolism part, or we can say biosynthesis. Okay. So in this case, we come to know that here is the cycle is 3-hydroxy 3-methyl glutaryl CoA. This is also known as HMG CoA. It is an important compound. So this on reduction going to form a mevalonic acid. So this is the result of acetyl CoA and acetoacetyl CoA, which is HMG CoA, and this is going to reduce into a mevalonic acid. But this step is required, HMG CoA reductase. Now, the cholesterol formation, if occurs in the axis, as we can see that if the lipid profile of a person is increasing, or we can say that the blood cholesterol level is increasing, so it is not a good sign for the health. So in this case, the hypolipidemic drugs are required, and these hypolipidemic drugs are acting on this enzyme, that is HMG CoA reductase. They used to bind with this enzyme, and due to this, the conversion does not occur and the formation of the cholesterol does not occur. Otherwise, the chart is there. A mevalonic acid going to form a mevalonate 5-phosphate with the help of enzyme mevalonate kinase. Next step is this will going to generate 5-pyrophosphate, then isopentenyl 5-pyrophosphate. This is going to form geranyl pyrophosphate, farnesyl pyrophosphate, and squalene. This is also an important structure in case of biosynthesis of cholesterol, squalene. This squalene is going to change into 2,3-oxidosqualene, which is finally changing into lenesterol, and lenesterol, it is a similar structure but undergoes 19 reaction and then form the cholesterol. So now from this chart of biosynthesis, one thing is clear, that body itself is going to make a larger molecule, bigger molecule, which itself is not easy to form in the lab. अगर आप इसका structure देखें, the cholesterol, it contains cyclopentanophenantine ring, and this ring is not very easy to be synthesized in the lab. Okay, so this molecule representing in this way. Next is de novo synthesis, or it is better known as de novo pyrimidine synthesis and the purine synthesis, de novo. So it is a process. So it starts from the glutamine. Glutamine again amino acid is going to form carbamoyl phosphate, then N-carbamoyl, L-aspartate, dihydroorate is going to form, and then orate is going to form UMP and the pyrimidine nucleotide. Now in case of purine synthesis, this is also started by the purine salvage pathway and the adenine, hypoxanthine and guanine, and finally we form the purine nucleotide. Now biosynthesis of neurotransmitters. So in this biosynthesis part, up to what we have seen, the cholesterol or the purine and pyrimidine synthesis. Now the next class is neurotransmitter. So if again we recall what we have learned until now, so we have started our journey from the biomolecules, then we have started with the nomenclature part, then we have discussed biochemical part, and we are discussing the biosynthesis part. So means these molecules are important in the food itself, but inside the body they are going to generate new molecule, useful molecules, or these molecules, on these molecules our health is dependent. So these molecules are required for survival. So again, the case of neurotransmitter, it is in our second slide also, but here is the pathway for biosynthesis. So here is the structure which is responsible for biosynthesis of neurotransmitter, and it is phenylalanine. It is going to change into the tyrosine, and tyrosine is going to change into levodopa, dopamine, norepinephrine and epinephrine. It is also known as adrenaline. So it is a life-saving drug. If we are taking the example of the tryptophan, it is going to generate serotonin. So neurotransmitters having a major role in neurosystem. What are the activities we are going to do? It is, these are the important mediators in synaptic cleft in case of neurons. So these are required. So again we come to know that the body is going to form such a molecules which are even required in life-saving conditions. So body itself is doing so much of work. Next is, this is our output. As in the case of pharmaceutical sciences, how these molecules are important and why these are required. Okay, so the pharmaceutically important molecules are, now case of the carbohydrate, what we have studied. So one class in carbohydrate is the glycosides. And the important drugs are digoxin, digitoxin. These are important in case of the cardiac glycosides. Next case is aminoglycosides. Aminoglycosides, the example is gentamicin. So again, gentamicin is important. Antibiotics. Now there is one more class in pharmaceutical sciences, that is drug excipients. So now up to this stage, what we are going to discuss in final part. So what are the biomolecules, what are the nomenclature, what are the biochemical cycles, and what are the biosynthetic pathways, and finally we come to know that how these molecules also gives us the information about drug designing. In case of pharmaceutical sciences, if we are going to design a new drug, how we can design? We need a basic structure for that, and that structure is going to provide by the biomolecule themselves. Who is going to tell about the structures? How we come to know that these molecules are important for pharmaceutical sciences? Because whatever the problem is there, it is a problem of metabolic disorders. For example, the case of diabetes. In case of diabetes, we used to say that it is not a disease, it is a metabolic disorder. So what kind of metabolic disorder it is? So we come to know that it is the insufficient or inefficient supply of insulin in the beta cell of pancreas. Means whatever the quantity is going to generate, it is not efficiently going to utilize. So that is why blood glucose level is increasing, and the condition of hyperglycemia occurs. But when we are going to generate a drug for it, how we can form? So finally, in case of diabetes, insulin is given at the final stages when the blood glucose level is not able to control. And that insulin is itself contain 51 amino acids. Continues. Okay, side chain A and B is there, but it is the case. So when we are going to know that these are the amino acids which are important for the biosynthesis of insulin, then we should eat the food which contain them. Instead of the fatty foods, junk foods, we should eat nutritional foods, balanced diet. Now, the case of drug excipients, as in the case of the pharmaceutical sciences, we know that one is the API, that is active pharmaceutical ingredient, which is the drug, and second one is drug excipients. Now, what is the difference between the two? So now, for example, we are going to discuss the case of the digoxin or the gentamicin. Whatever the formulation we are going to make, the tablet or capsule or the sterile dosage form, ophthalmic or the parentals. Okay. So in that case, we come to know that the amount of active pharmaceutical ingredient is lower. For example, 500 mg, and the weight of tablet is 1 gram. Then what is the rest of the amount? So this is the class that is drug excipients. And drug excipient include binders, okay, diluents. So these type of compounds are also recovered from carbohydrates. So for that purpose or the pharmaceutical purpose, carbohydrates are important molecules. Next class is proteins. So protein are, again, as we know that the protein are forming the infrastructure of the body. Protein is going to form infrastructure of the body. So major class of the drug is antibody based drugs, anticoagulant, blood factors, hormones, interferons or interleukins. These are the classes. So in case of protein, as we have discussed about the carbohydrates, drugs and drug excipients, when we are going to form a specific type of protein, what we need? We need a sequence of protein. So it is a continuous practice in the research that we are going to isolate the specific protein which is correlated with the disease. We will find the structure, and a process is there which is known as molecular docking. And from that process, we are going to give the information about drug receptor interactions. Drug receptor interactions means how this molecule is bind with the drugs and how it will form a different interactions and give the different biological effects. Lipid-based drugs, for example, daptomycin, the calcitriol, valproic acid, venlafaxine and montelukast. So again, the lipid is important class as we have discussed, and we come to know that it is going to generate number of biomolecules also as a part of anabolism. Beta oxidation of lipid is there for the production of ATP in long-term use. Now the case of drugs. So from these lipids, we come to know that the certain amount of drug or the exact structure of the drug what we require for the biological process. For example, valproic acid. It is a drug used in the epilepsy. Epilepsy is the case. Okay, so we require this drug. It is a lipoidal nature. Okay, so again, it can cross the blood-brain barrier. So similar type of the information, how we can generate this? Because whatever the disease condition is there, it is certain metabolic disorders. And from that part, we have to generate the information about the biosynthesis or drug designing part. So as a summary, what we can say? That these molecules are required for the purposes and different cycles, and they are required in bulk also. The major classes are the carbohydrate, lipid, and proteins. They constitute the major part. We can also talk about the water itself, a molecule required for the body, for the various events. We can say that for the digestion purpose. For example, the carbohydrate, protein, and lipids. These are the bulky structures. We need this structure in bulk also. Okay. So if we are going to discuss with starch, you have taken the starch, but the enzyme which is present in your mouth, that is alpha amylase, is going to degrade the starch into glucose, and that glucose is going to participate in glycolysis. Because for the glycolysis we need glucose, and then the pyruvate will form, then citric acid cycle will undergo, and from that the HMP strand, and finally electron transport chain can occur. So for that digestion purpose, it is required. In case of diabetes, what happens? The beta cell of pancreas, isolates of Langerhans, what we have discussed. Isolates of Langerhans is that part of pancreas which contain beta cells, and these beta cells are going to generate insulin. Okay, so whatever the amount we are taken as a carbohydrate, it is going to convert into glucose, and for that we require this insulin which can control the quantity. And if the complete quantity is going to utilize in glycolysis, or it can be stored as a glycogen, nothing is the problem. The problem is there, the abundant glucose is not utilized by the body. Or in case of diabetes, we come to know that it is the starvation in abundance. It is also said in case of diabetes, it is starvation in abundance. यानी कि हम कह सकते हैं कि कुएं के पास में कोई प्यासा बैठा हुआ है, ठीक है? It is the case of diabetes. So abundant quantity of glucose is there, but it is not utilized by the body due to the insufficient or inefficient supply of insulin. Okay. Now in case of the protein, we are taking the protein in the form of the primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structure, the quaternary structure, if we are focusing on the part of protein. And it is going to generate into amino acids, or if we are going to discuss the case of the collagen. The collagen is a protein which is the important class of protein, and it is constituted about important class which is 30%, and the collagen itself contains the amino acid glycine, and the amount of glycine is near about the 25%, and the general structure of collagen is described as glycine XY. XY may be leucine, isoleucine, and these type of compounds, but glycine is the major content of collagen. Now we require some diet, or we require such diet which contain this protein. Otherwise what happens? The weakness in the muscles will be there. Ligament injuries nowadays is a common problem, because our food does not contain such quantity of amino acid. We require amino acid in abundance also. If we are not eating the proper diet, we are not getting that quantity of protein. Okay. So it is required, the collagen. Next class is the conjugated protein. So it contains an important class, that is enzyme, metalloenzyme, zinc containing enzyme, the carbonic anhydrase. So why it is required? For a number of reactions, for a number of biochemical events. It is going to participate in the body and going to form the vital biochemical events. Next one is derived protein, like the peptide, peptones. Okay. So again, it is the important class, and we have discussed about urea cycle, the formation of the ammonia and CO2 is there, and it is finally excreted via the kidneys in the form of urine. Now the protein, if we are discussing about the clinical part, okay, so how the deficiency of protein will going to give the disorders. So there are a number of diseases due to the deficiency of protein, because protein is required for everywhere. We come to know that even for the antibody formation, we need a protein, that is immunoglobulin. It is a big class of molecule and very vast structure is there. So it is required. So protein is required for the immunity, protein is required for muscle formation, protein is required for even good drug receptor interaction. Okay, because sometimes a news is there that body is not tolerating the drugs because your immunity is low. Okay, so there are some reasons. Next is the class of lipid, as we have discussed. We will focus out the important points. So high lipid profile of a person is a problem. Means the lipid content should be lower. Okay, a certain limit is required, or we can say that for the digestion of the lipid in the proper manner, we require a workout, a day-to-day habit. Workout is required. If your workout is not good, you cannot able to digest the lipid properly, and the storage form of lipid is not good. Because if we focus on the disease part, one disease is there, that is atherosclerosis. That disease is the result of the accumulation of lipids. If we focus on the lipoprotein, okay, here is the protein, glycoproteins. Sorry, it is the class which contain very low density lipoproteins, high density lipoproteins. Okay, so high density lipoproteins are required for removal of extra quantity of glucose from the cell, extra quantity of cholesterol from the cell. जितना भी जो कोलेस्ट्रॉल एक्यूमुलेटेड हो गया है, एक्स्ट्रा क्वांटिटी है, उसको निकालने के लिए आपको हाई डेंसिटी लिपोप्रोटीन चाहिए. लो डेंसिटी लिपोप्रोटीन अगर वो काम में नहीं आएगा कोलेस्ट्रॉल, तो वो एक्यूमुलेट करने के लिए छोड़ देंगे. बट अगर आपकी डाइट में हाई डेंसिटी लिपोप्रोटीन है, तो एक्सेस क्वांटिटी ऑफ कोलेस्ट्रॉल इट कैन रिमूव आउट, so it is good for you. So for this purpose we can say that our oil, the vegetative oil what we are eating, should contain good quantity of HDL. The carotenoids, for example, steroidal hormone and fat soluble vitamin. As in the case of fat soluble vitamin, the vitamin A, D, E and K, these are the fat soluble vitamins. Now if we want to discuss about vitamin A, there is an important cycle which is known as Wald's visual cycle, what we have discussed in previous slides. This is Wald's visual cycle. So this cycle will occurs when you have the sufficient quantity of vitamin A, beta carotene आपको चाहिए, otherwise this cycle will not complete it. Second one is vitamin D. Vitamin D यानी कि 125 dihydroxy cholecalciferol. You need that calcitriol. And next is vitamin B12. So for the biosynthesis, you need this specific quantity or those quantity of lipid which is going to generate such molecules. Now the case of biosynthesis part. As in the case of neurotransmitters. So, adrenaline is a life-saving drug, and from the pharmacological point of view, we come to know that it is going to control heart rate. One example is there, that is when a person is not responding, okay, or we can say that the blood pressure level of a person goes down. It is a condition of hypotension, and in that condition, NORAD is given, that is noradrenaline infusion pump is given to the patient for the upliftment of blood pressure to the normal level. So it is a life-threatening condition, and from this condition, if a person wants to improve, actually it is the patient is unconscious at that time, but the continuous monitoring of doctors and hospital staff and the person with the patient, all these conditions are required. The oxygen is there, the continuous oxygen supply is required. Okay. So it is a life-threatening condition. But when we come to know that it is a life-saving drug, because when the structure of adrenaline we have isolated, the structure elucidation part is completed, and then the information is generated that this molecule is having an important biological activity. Beta 1 receptors, alpha, beta receptors on the blood vessels and all that, heart. So due to that action, it is working as a life-saving drug. So in this way, we conclude our process, and we can say that we have studied about the biomolecules. Biomolecules are important class of the molecules having some biological activity. These molecules are mainly divided into the following classes like a carbohydrate, protein, lipids, even water, which are required in bulk, and whereas minerals, vitamins, enzymes are there which are required in vital quantities or trace amount, but these are important. Next, we have discussed about what are the carbohydrate, what are the different classes of carbohydrate, what are the example of carbohydrate. Similarly, we have discussed the case of protein, what are the different classes of protein, and what are the classification of both amino acid and proteins. Next, we have discussed about lipids, what are lipids and how they are classified on the basis of structure also. And then we have discussed about the biochemical events. In that biochemical event, we have discussed about glycolysis, how it is known as the first step in respiration, cellular respiration. Then we have discussed about citric acid cycle, then HMP shunt, and then we have discussed the metabolism of the protein. In that we have discussed about the urea cycle, and then we come to know that these are the metabolic event along with the electron transport chain, and with one more cycle from lipid side, that is beta oxidation of lipid. In the third part, we have discussed about the biosynthesis of different molecules, and in that we have discussed about cholesterol biosynthesis, synthesis of nucleotide, which is purine and pyrimidine synthesis, and neurotransmitters, that is the process of formation of neurotransmitter. So in this way, finally we have come to know that how these structures are correlated with drugs, because the pharmaceutical part is there. So it is the final slide from the biomolecule, that these are the major contribution of biomolecules in pharmaceutical science. Because if we are not able to identify the structure of these molecules, how we can generate these drugs? Biomolecules gives us the basic idea for their structures and even their biological activity. So major is digoxin, gentamicin, drug excipient class we have discussed, and then in that the example is agar, tragacan, acacia, pectin. And from the protein class, leucins, interleukin, anticoagulants. From the lipid class, daptomycin, calcitriol, valproic acid, montelukast. Because if we are discussing with the montelukast, mast cell stabilizer, so asthma is also a condition that is harmful. That is, COPD is also there. But if we are discussing at the fundamental level, we can say that we required some steroidal treatment. So lipid class is important. Steroidal class, steroids are required. They have some limitation, but when the condition of life-threatening condition is there, we have to save the life, then we have to utilize it. So in this way, all the biomolecules are important, and they are directly, indirectly going to generate the number of molecules, and these molecules are even utilized or gives us the information about drug design. So thank you all for your attention, and thank you CP for giving me such an unique opportunity to be the part of digital teaching. Thank you all.